cost of our videos went up and up and up and up until I was like, where do you want to go on holiday then? Oh, New Orleans is all right. Hong Kong? Yeah, that'll do. So the costs were horrendous.
I suppose we entered a world then that was really out of touch with whatever had inspired us in the first place. And it's the danger of any band, is that your inspiration becomes purely yourself. So it is a bit dangerous for most bands, and you do become a bit of a... You can, you know, end up becoming a bit of a parody of yourself.
My big deal at that point was I wanted to be an actor, and I think those videos were kind of frustrating for me because I wanted to do more. I could feel that I wanted to be in front of the camera doing more, and Tony would always get the lead part, and I was always pushed into the background. It was always frustrating for me. Gary and I were both being offered several different parts before the Cratering movie, but the Cratering was the thing that everyone was waiting to see. We knew that, you know, we were the luckiest two guys in England at that time to get those roles. There was a whole queue of actors waiting to jump over us. But the Cratering was the obvious thing, was that was going to be the biggest springboard. And it was great for us, but I think it was frustrating for the other guys.
I don't have a problem with people going off and making films, that's fine. From my own personal point of view, and I've discussed this with Martin as well, and at the time, because there was a bit of fallout about it, is that I would have liked to have been asked.
I guess they were scared, really, that it may be the sort of end of the group. You know, if the film did well, maybe we'd want to carry on acting. Ironically, it was because of their attitude towards us, I think, that I really wanted to finish the group.
While Gary and Martin were busy with the craze, Spandau were also recording what would be their last album, Heart Like a Sky.
Once there were times, love, when we could touch the air between, and out across this room we'd fill the space with all our schemes.
I felt personally in my heart we'd reached a sell-by date. I mean, it was 1988, and we'd been making records since 1980. And it was with some reluctance, really, that I went back in the studio to make another album.
No matter how many miles...
Other things began to happen. You know, I felt that I wanted a bigger credit on the production side of things, and asked for that. And I think when you see that the boat is starting to rock, you think, well, just keep rocking it, you know, and see what happens.
He decided in one swift stroke, really, to change the credits, and also, which really doesn't have anything to do with the credits, but it came at the same time, to stop paying publishing payments, which we'd received throughout the career of Spandau Ballet.
You know, up until then it had been very all for one for all. And now this was, you know, turning into a bit of Animal Farm, you know. All band members are equal, but some are more equal than others. And Tony was having a tough time, Gary was trying to tell him how to sing the songs, and it turned into a bit of a nightmare.
He grew into being a control freak at that point, and it just seemed to me that that was the point where he really overstepped the mark, and these decisions he was making were purely selfish ones.
I think, you know, I'd started to lose faith in the group, you know. I didn't want to be in that gang anymore.
We should have got together and said, OK, right, Spandau Ballet, we won't do it for a couple of years. We'll go off, do what you want. You know, call me in 2 years and we'll see what the deal is. What happened was it just sort of petered out. I mean, Spandau's never split. There was never anything in the press. It just sort of deflated over a couple of years.
These are my salad days, slowly being eaten away. Just another play for today.
Immediately after a band finishes, There's a desperation to prove your individuality and your strength as an individual. That you're equally as important or more important, and there's a kind of revenge that sort of creeps in.
Gold, always believe in your soul. You've got the power to know you're indestructible. Always believing you are gold. Like that you're bound to return. There's something I could have learned. You're indestructible. Always believing.
I kind of sort of want to go like that. I think, if I'm honest with you, you know, Spandau Ballet. I know that sounds quite sad because there's a lot of sort of still fans there and everything, but it's just bad memories at the moment.
The nightmare continued for Steve Norman, Tony Hadley and John Keeble. In settlement of court costs, they had to pay Gary Kemp a 6-figure sum and sign over to him all their financial interests in the band, including any use of the name Spandau Ballet. Even the saxophone currently used by Steve Norman and the drum kit used by John Keeble are now owned by Gary. The three boys are currently touring the world as Hadley, Norman and Keeble, ex-Spandau Ballet.
Spandau Ballet are a brand name, and it would be my passport back on stage. Part of me never wants to do it again. It's the end of an era. Part of me is fascinated by what it would be like, because we spent such an extraordinary time together. Whether or not we can forget all our differences now, I don't know whether we're capable of doing that. But no one else can play those songs. No one else can get up on stage and play True, or, you know, you can get different guitarists in, or you can get a different singer in if you like. But really, people only really want to see the 5 people who originally played it getting up and playing it. And we can do that.
I've been to Hollywood, I've seen the Deadwood, I'm on the plane again, I guess you knew I would. All the fault lies here, I split the city into 2. I thought of you today.
Reliving the turbulent times of Dexy's Midnight Runners, Young Guns returns to BBC 2 at the same time next week. And Jules Holland's tuning into Travis, Sholama and Paul McCartney, to name a few, this Friday at 1:35.